Hey, I had some extra time while I'm getting my tires fixed, and figured it was a good time to try to send out a message to Braden Clavicular Peters. I heard that you are going to get surgery to have your mandible lengthened by a couple inches and your upper jaw. Not a couple inches, a couple millimeters um, in the next few weeks. And I wanted to talk with you a little bit, man to young man. Yes, I know, ugly man to young man, whatever. um, about this choice and about the path you're on. First of all, I wanted to say that I think the reason you're so famous is that you're a looksmaxxing guy who happened to, probably mostly by chance, grow up to be very objectively attractive. Bopping yourself with a hammer did not give you that face. Even methamphetamine did not. But congratulations on your face. It is a good one. It's so good that, objectively speaking, it will not be enhanced by lengthening your mandible. Your friend, I don't mean to be rude because I know it's something he's going for, but your friend, like androgenic, he looks like a cartoon. And he looks like a cartoon, I believe, because he's undergone some changes that were aimed at making him look more like a particular cartoon. And women, we've seen it over and over again in your own videos. Women do not find that shit attractive, which is fine. Like, maybe you can mog the men. But like actual full-grown men do not find that particularly intimidating to have fashioned yourself after like a boy cartoon. And like, whatever, it's not that big a deal if you get some cosmetic surgery. But I guess I want to encourage you to think about, what is this whole thing about? I know that, well, this whole movement began, honestly, it began with like bad expectations around marriage and societal norms that caused men, there to be a group of men who were really unhappy after their divorces. And it literally started with people being like, wait, women aren't the angels that God specifically picked for me to take care of me and be my mommy and my lover? Like, women actually care about looks? That was the beginning of lookism.net, is like, women care about looks. How unjust. And yes, they care about looks, as do men. But it evolved from these angry divorcees into a woman hating thing. Where like they went from like, women are not angels, they actually care about angels, get designed just for me, but they actually care about things like looks and money. It went from that to femoids are evil. And I guess I want to encourage some thinking about it from a different perspective, which is your reproductive drive. I know yours has maybe been a little bit distorted by hormones, but I'm sure I can find some normalcy again. What is the purpose of a male reproductive drive? A lot of young men think, well, shit, sex is on offer apparently, and I want it. And therefore, one of my big purposes in life is to go out and get as much sex with as many attractive women as I can. But that actually isn't the purpose of a male sex drive. The purpose of a male sex drive, the purpose of a male reproductive drive, is to produce children that can successfully go on to produce their own children. Like, that's literally why these drives evolved. And the best way to do that, the most effective way to do that, all of history would seem to indicate, is to spend at least several years investing in the well-being of the mother and the offspring, like your money, your resources, your time, and so forth. And how does the male sex drive make you invest in your offspring? Easy. It bonds you. Like, maybe once doesn't do it, twice doesn't do it, but if you're having sex with a willing woman who's attractive, you're going to want to do it as many times as you can over the course of months. And this creates, like undeniably with like vasopressin and oxytocin and all the various chemicals, this creates a tremendous bond between you and the woman. And it also, like after your first time, generally a healthy man wants to keep having sex with that woman as often as everyone is willing. And in harmony with the woman's inclinations, this instills a desire to invest in the woman and any offspring, because women are wired such that if they're not eating enough or if they're not feeling respected and taken care of, they are not going to be as interested in sex. They're just going to, those gates are going to close. Women can do that. In the context of a society or world that doesn't allow free rape, which generally most don't and didn't. So the male sex drive, the male reproductive drive, shapes male behavior naturally to pair bonding and then family support and mate guarding. But that's part of being a meat bag, I guess. And it does that because this pattern is what resulted in the most viable offspring. And that was your ancestors who did that. The people who succeeded in passing on their genes to multiple generations were the people whose attributes we all have now. So like it or not, that's how you're wired, is to want to pair bond. And, you know, when men's sex drives are getting like revving, they can be a little bit indiscriminate, which, you know, makes sense. Analog process is just getting going, and it starts out at an 11. But the way that we men are wired, and you ask someone about the first time they got broken up with, I've certainly talked on a personal level with half a dozen guys, and other friends have confirmed when they talk with guys that most men are absolutely blindsided by breaking up with their first sexual partner who they actually cared about. Like, absolutely devastated, just about killed by the level of emotion they experienced. And this is a normal thing. It's common in men. Nobody talks about it. I don't know why not. I guess because men are primed not to talk about their emotions. Every man I've ever talked to, like, it was way more than they expected. That's because we're wired this way. To pair bond. Men and women both wired to pair bond. Men wired to maybe continue wanting sex, like a lot of sex after that. Women wired to demand certain levels of behavior and even support, because that's like a baby requires a tremendous amount of. The nature of humans is they're fucking useless for like years, like multiple years. They're literally drinking from their mom for years. Back in the day, how many cave women could like nurse a baby and take care of a 3-year-old and go out and feed all of them? Like that's a 2-person, that's a 2-adult job at least. And most societies, or most people, thrived because of man material and physical support. So like right now you're embedded in some world where, you know, having sex with as many women as possible, or, you know, trying to, whatever, is some kind of measure of your worth. But if you look at people who have aged 10 years out of this particular pattern, you'll find that nobody seems to think it was really the most meaningful and valuable way to spend time. And it's just not the way to spend time that's in harmony with your own evolutionary history. Like the voice coach on the show Glee, the actor, I don't remember his name, he was interviewed and he said he was reflecting back on his time as a straight guy in musical theater. He was probably like your age. And he says that he had a lot of sex with a lot of women. You know, attractive women, I'm sure, like professional musical theater types. And his reflection on it was something like that, like, it was okay, I guess. Like, he didn't even say it with a smile. He was like, it was okay, I guess. And that he didn't find it very meaningful. And we are wired not to find that shit very meaningful. And what's happened in our culture is we've just kind of gotten on a crazy train. Like the young male sex drive combined with the rage of divorcees and outdated gender expectations for marriage it's put you onto a crazy train that is not good for you, really not good for your followers if they believe anything about you. People your age, young men who follow their dicks and their impulses like to the end of the earth, or to the surgeon's table and beyond, in 10 years you're not going to find it very meaningful. And I understand in your case, like, getting this surgery is like literally part of your job. I hope you're saving money. But I just want to invite you to reconsider the whole process, the train you're on. I think it's a total bummer that you got kicked out of college for, like, you're literally dependent on TRT right now. And so even calling it steroids at this point, like if you lowered it to a reasonable dose, is a misnomer. It's unfortunate you got kicked out of college for that. You got a good brain, I'm sure. That's all. Thanks for listening. No homo, but check out the flowers. They're kind of nice. See ya. Flowers today are pretty. Southeast Alaska. Invasive, I guess, these ones. Sweet rockets. Whoa, okay. I wish they were edible, but not bad.